Curious about the new Libre? Stick around. So I am a fan of the Libre line from YSL, and I know that I'm not pronouncing it properly, but we're going to go with Libre over here today. So the original Libre, the OG, which unfortunately I don't have the bottle in front of me. It's actually on a perfume tray elsewhere, and I didn't want to go get it. So, but I've got all the others that were in my cabinet. So the original was this beautiful, it looked basically like this. This is the eau de toilette, but the original was basically this, a little darker. This was a beautiful lavender vanilla, very lavender forward vanilla fragrance. And it had a little bit of a love-hate, I think mostly love relationship for most people. If you smell it, you recognize that it smells beautiful. But maybe the lavender leaned a little too masculine for you and it wasn't your favorite. I loved it immediately. The first time I smelled this in a department store, could not get enough of it. I did a whole thing on my December fragrance tray because I've been wearing it I always have one on my fragrance tray for the most part, one of the flankers. But I was talking about how I accidentally fell asleep with the blotters from this and several other perfumes right next to my bed one night when I was testing some things, and the next morning I had the most splitting headache, and I couldn't smell it for a while because it just reminded me of getting that headache. But anyway, I've gotten over that. I loved it then, I love it now. It is a beautiful, beautiful scent. Doesn't lean too masculine for me at all. Then they came out with the intense version that for some people, this was even better, and perhaps everything that they were sort of missing from the original. I keep holding this up. I know this isn't it, but if I didn't tell you, you probably wouldn't know the difference. They look so similar. So the intense version, I'm going to look up the notes just to make sure that I'm giving you the difference. According to Fragrantica, the top notes of the original are lavender, mandarin orange, blackcurrant, and mid notes are lavender, orange blossom, jasmine, and the base notes are Madagascar, vanilla, musk, cedar, and ambergris. So I think mostly you get kind of the lavender, vanilla, and some jasmine in the original. And the dry down is just, I think the opening, mid, and dry down are beautiful. Beautiful. It's a little bit linear, but beautifully so. Not in a bad way at all. Okay, the Libre Intense. What is different? Well, you've got the lavender vanilla combination. Still got some jasmine, still have some orange blossom, and you've got tonka bean and vetiver in the base. Still the Madagascar vanilla, still lavender in the top and the mid, according to Fragrantica, none in the base. I think this is perhaps a true, intense version. It's what you liked about the original, but deeper, more intense. This one, I think, does that. I think this is an intense version of the original, and if you liked the original, you like this. Now, there are some who didn't like the original, but do like this. They think that the lavender is a bit toned down here, and that could be. It's definitely vanilla forward. You do get florals. You do get a rich, deep floral with vanilla, but I think it's similar enough to the first that if you like the first, you'd like the flanker. If you didn't like the first, still try it, because some people say that it hit the spot when the other one didn't. And then they've got the eau de toilette, which is like a watered down version of the original. It is a less intense version of the original, as you might expect. In the eau de toilette concentration, they've got jasmine tea listed as a note and musk in the base, but otherwise it's lavender, vanilla, orange blossom jasmine. All of those are still listed. It's a little bit of a different combination. It's not as heavy. It's not as intense. It's got lavender in the top notes according to Fragrantica, but not in the mid and the base. So if that bothered you, I would say try this. This is still, if you like, a beast of a fragrance, right? This isn't a light fragrance. It's not like you will not lose the beauty of the intensity and the sillage and all the projection and the longevity and all that stuff. If you liked in the original, you're going to get that here. It's just not going to be so much. And so if that was too much for you, this might do it. Then we have YSL Libre Le Parfum. So this has the darkest color juice. It's the deepest, most rich looking of them. And a lot of people, I'm just trying to make sure I get the notes for you. A lot of people said this was the one. Maybe they didn't like the original, but they really got into this. Now, what this one has that none of the others have is that saffron note at the top, which gives it a spiciness the other ones didn't have. It's also got a ginger note at the top, and it's got honey in the base. It is good. It is good. If you liked the original, I think you will love this. If you didn't like the original, try it. It might have just the right mix of the things that gives you, it's still intense, it's still lavender, it's still vanilla, but it's got some spiciness, it's got some honey, it's got a little something that the other ones don't in the other concentrations and the original. And I think that this might be good for you. This is very popular, as far as I can tell from the reviews, fragrance in the Libre line. But today we want to talk about this one. This is the newest one. YSL Libre Absolute Platine. And I don't know if I'm saying that right, but that's how it looks like it would be said without, the proper French. The notes, according to Fragrantica, the top notes are aldehydes, bergamot, mandarin orange. The mid notes are lavender, blue lavender, orange blossom, and the base is vanilla and amber. Now, what I get from this, I said this in my December tray video, I get if there was a way to take the original, that's not the original, but this looks more like it. If there was a way to take the original and make it fresh, Libre is intense, okay? It's a lavender vanilla perfume. If it's going to have Libre DNA, it's going to be a lavender vanilla perfume. It's going to be deep. It's going to be intense. It's going to be a beast of a fragrance. But if it were possible to take that and just lift it a bit to make it fresh, this is it. It was a pleasant surprise to have somehow the richness, the deepness of everything you like about Libre, but with a fresh twist. So I'm going to spray it on my skin. I've been wearing this. This is not the first time I've used this by any means. But I'm going to spray it just to refresh my memory of the freshness. So right away, the aldehydes do come through, that whatever that is, that it comes through, and there's something about it that is airy. There's something about it that is lifted. I get mandarin orange. I guess I get bergamot. There is a citrus. There is a citrus and an airiness that comes through right away. And as it settles down, it doesn't lose that. Somehow, the citrus is backing off. It always does. Almost always does. The citrus is backing off, but the freshness, the lightness is staying. And so the lavender is really coming through. And the florals. The orange blossom. It's like, I really, I'm sorry if I'm not explaining this very well. The best way I can explain this is it is a fresh version of the originals or the flankers. It has a lightness, an airiness, a freshness that the other ones just do not have. It's not a fresh fragrance, right? If I were to take this and line up like my freshest, most citrus or most sort of airy light fragrances, I mean, this on the spectrum, this is going to be on the deep end. But in the Libre lineup, okay, this is it. This is the fresh version of what we love about the originals. And it stays with you even as the lavender and the vanilla set in, even as it takes on the deepness of what you would expect from Libre perfume. Lightness, that freshness stays. It's not citrus. The citrus really does fade to the back. It's not like it smells like bergamot the whole time, but it just takes the vanilla lavender. It takes the deeper notes and it makes them lighter, fresher. For that reason, I think it's definitely different enough from the others to pick it up, even if you have the others. And I think if you liked the others, but you were wondering what's an equivalent of this that I could wear anytime, any place? What's the Libre that if I, accidentally spray too much, I'm not going to choke out the room at work? It's this. That's what I think it's this. I think if you are a fan of the Libre line, but you wanted something that could lift it up a little bit, it's this. If you're not a fan of the line because the line is too much, you might be able to get into this. So from my point of view, I highly recommend, especially for Libre fans. See you next time.